My favorite cookie baker in the whole world, Iris Lauber, is here, and I know someday you are going to be everyone's favorite cookie baker.
Yay,
You're
me.
You're a force of nature and totally talented.
Aw.
And you look good in pink. I didn't tell her to wear pink, but look at us, giant pink and little pink. All right, so what got me calling you this time was you were posting these just gorgeous, cute Easter ideas, and I was inspired to have you make some.
Oh, sure. I'm going to show you how to make them.
Okay,
we're going to have a lot of fun
just
today.
talk a little bit about your business before we start making these. You mostly do cakes and cookies. Talk about your business.
I do custom cookies. These are cookie favors. So mostly people call me because they want to do something special for a shower, or it's Christmas time or something like that, and I do fabulous cakes.
And wedding cakes and
I absolutely do wedding cakes, custom design cakes. You can actually find me online. Right now my website's closed down, we're renovating. But if you look on Facebook, you can find me on Facebook, and I think you know that, but it's An Occasional Cookie. And you know what? The way it's spelled is with two capitals, a capital A, a capital N. If you don't type it in that way, you won't get there. So it's An Occasional Cookie, and you'll be able to see all the
fantastic stuff
and
that
the prices and the different flavors and stuff like that you can get.
And you have done this kind of literally from scratch. It's your own business. You licensed your kitchen.
I started without knowing a single thing, but my husband, who's smarter than me, he said, Iris, you make sure and have it licensed, and so we did. And the state of Ohio is one of 17 states that allows something called cottage industry, so you can have your kitchen license, which is great. It's a great way to start out without the overhead. And then I just kind of watched the YouTube tutorials, believe it or not, and practiced, and here I am.
And you've turned something that was just, I think I might want to do this, into something that is going gangbusters.
I didn't even think I wanted to do this, Rebecca. I just thought, you know what, here I am, I'm doing something, and everybody likes it, and that's how it took off.
And you were saying you were doing up to 1,000 cookies a week during the holiday
season? At Christmas time. Well, you know, the Blade food editor had done a story on us, and he said to me, the phone's going to ring like crazy, and I thought, nah, the phone's not going to ring like crazy, and it rang like nuts. And so we didn't want to disappoint anybody, and we started doing lots and lots of cookies, and I hired in 4 what I call little elves, girls that honestly, they're so cute, but they knew absolutely nothing about what they were doing, and we all did it together. And that month we did about 4,000 cookies. You know, the month of December. Yep.
So
and we lived.
When you lived, we lived to tell the tale. So we are going to do, these are sugar cookies. We can't give out your recipe because it is a special secret. It's a trade secret.
Yes.
But my secret is a lot of times I'll go to Gordon Foods and buy their pre-cut cookies. That's my
favorite cookie recipe. Everybody has something that they absolutely love. My recipe, it does have cream cheese in it, I'll tell you that. So it keeps the cookies nice and soft, and I love that because what we're going to use today is royal icing, and royal icing tends to get a little bit hard. So if you have a nice soft base underneath the royal icing, you're not biting into a rock.
It's a good combo.
I don't think anybody wants to bite into that.
No,
right?
No.
So a lot of times you'll eat those beautiful frosted cookies and they taste like a rock.
Yeah.
A sweet rock.
So for you have the moisture cookie, which is, I can testify to that. But like I said, if you want to do cutout cookies from Gordon, that would be your quick and easy way to do it. And then you can invent your time.
You can do anything. They sell the stuff in the packages. I think you can mix an egg or something in, and voila. You can do anything you want.
So then the key is going to be your icing, your royal icing.
The key to doing this type of flooding, what I'm going to show you today, is the royal icing. And you know what, I wasn't going to go ahead and prepare this online because we would just be watching the spinner revolve for 3 or 4 minutes, but I did bring it. And
all right,
here's
so
what
bring
it
it over here.
Okay.
Let's see what
now
we've
here's
got.
The royal icing. I have it here in my mixing bowl. I made it early this morning. And if you look inside, I don't know if you guys can see this at home, it's a pretty thick consistency. Okay,
right.
So you wouldn't be able to flood with this consistency, but this would be perfect for filling your piping bag and doing intricate designs that you want to stay hard and tight and that kind of thing. But here's another thing that I want to tell you at home. Now the royal icing.
We do have this recipe at fullplate.tv.
Sure, okay. So the royal icing recipe. If you look for your royal icing recipe, it will tell you to use egg whites. By the way, we want to keep this covered for now because it will dry into a log. Okay, so you're going to be using egg whites, but the fact is we know we don't want to give anyone salmonella. So I found this awesome stuff, which is by Wilton, and I don't know, there may be other brands, but I like this one. It's called meringue powder. And we're going to use this as a substitute for the egg whites, and that way we know that we're clean, we're neat, and no one's going to get salmonella. You know, it's great. I love this stuff.
Where do you purchase this?
You can purchase this at the craft stores, you know, or probably a baking supply. I always give a shout out to Cake Arts because they're local and they're a wonderful place to go and get your supplies if you want to support local.
So Cake Supply Place might be a good place to find this.
Okay. Yes, okay.
All right.
So now what I'm going to
Now
do
what?
is I'm going to show you first, Rebecca, how to go ahead and take this and we're going to thin it. We're going to flood some cookies today. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some flood. Okay, so I'm going to take a big old glob of this stuff and just stick it here in this bowl. You know, see how thick it is? We won't be able to flood. Now, the consistency that we're going to look for is a consistency that folds into itself, meaning, I'm going to show you right now, if you pick this stuff up, it just kind of globs down. This is definitely not going to sit nice and flat on your cookie. You want it to sit nice and flat. So you're going to take just water, plain old tap water or filtered water, whatever you like, and you're going to add a very small bit at a time. Okay, so I'm going to probably add, I would say that was a half an ounce of water. And this is kind of a tedious thing because you really have to kind of practice.
Yeah, but just like
But-
doing our dough, this
Okay.
is one of those things. It's
So
not
if
an
you
exact
see,
science.
I don't know if we have the above camera,
Yep,
but
we
if you
do.
see, it's lightening up, so it's starting to drip. But that is still not what you want. See, it's not really folding in on itself. It wants to sit right up on top of itself. So I'm going to add probably another half ounce of water. And by the way, if you're making this and you add too much water and now it's too thin, well, you can just add a little bit more confectioner's sugar, which is in this recipe. It's really all confectioner's sugar, and it will tighten it right back up. Okay.
Okay.
I like probably,
Oh, is that
this
it?
is looking just a tiny bit more water, and I mean tiny, tiny bit. You don't want it too thin, or then it just drips off of your cookie and makes a huge mess. And that's a bummer.
That's a bummer.
It really is. It's happened plenty of times. My little girls that help me, they can testify for that. Okay,
Is
so
that
there.
getting
This
closer
is
to
good.
what you want?
I would say
Okay.
that this is what you need. If you let it sit, it's going to kind of fold into itself and go flat.
Okay.
See that? It's just kind of flattening out.
Beautiful.
And now, all right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to tint a color so that we want to go ahead and, which color would you like, turquoise or yellow?
Let's do turquoise, Iris.
Okay. Would you mind handing me that knife, love? No, you know what? Actually, this has a little squirter guy in it.
Okay.
So, you know, with this, you can also play around if you like it dark or you like it light. Since we're doing kind of spring cookies, I'm going to go for somewhat of a pastel. And this, what is this stuff? This is the AmeriColor, which you can also buy at the craft store. And this stuff is great because you don't have to use as much. It's very concentrated, and you get a nice true color. So I'll start with 2 drops of this. Mix this stuff up. I really like to use the squeeze bottles, again, available at the craft store. If you don't want to invest in a squeeze bottle because you don't think you're going to do this more than once, you can honestly use a Ziploc bag that you can cut the tip off of, you know, the little corner of the Ziploc
love it.
bag. Yeah, it's great. It works great.
My grandma calls this color icy blue.
This is a really pretty color, I think.
Icy blue.
Okay, so now
Favorite
what
color.
I'm going to show you how to do is fill these wonderful bottles from the craft store, which honestly, no offense to whoever created these things, but you could have made a bigger little spout thing because
The
this
mouth
is
needs
really,
to be bigger.
Yes,
right?
it's very much a challenge to get this stuff in. So let's see if I can do this on the air and not make a complete idiot out of myself. But I start like this, okay? So, and now I'm going to hold this thing way, way up high so it just kind of drips into the bottle. And after that? See how nice and like fluid
flow
that
you're
is?
getting, yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I would compare this to almost the consistency of bath gel. So that's what you'd want to look for if you're making that, you know. Get a bottle of bath gel out. And then you'll know for sure. Isn't this fun? It's so fun. Snoring is not allowed. Okay.
Oh, darn it,
Well,
Iris.
That's okay. That way everybody knows that even the professional makes a mistake. Now,
Okay.
truly, if you're doing this at home, I didn't bring any plastic wrap, but you're going to want to cover this because, like I said, it will harden. It is
Okay.
royal icing.
All right.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this little, all right, and
I'm going to put my lily pad on there from Paula
Okay.
Brown.
I brought something to wipe our fingers on.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to make one more color, which is yellow, and guess what? I'm going to let you make that one because
Alrighty.
I think that you can do it. All right, you can just use that spoon to grab some of this stuff out of.
Okay. Oh, there we
Here's
go.
your water right over there that you had set.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get you a little glob of yellow. Okay.
Little glob of yellow.
Yeah, this is the same stuff, the AmeriColor, but if you buy it at one of the craft stores here in town, they only sell it in these little things, which are kind of nice because you can take the lid off. And,
Right.
okay,
Is that enough?
that's plenty because otherwise you won't have room to mix.
Okay.
Okay, here's your little glob of yellow. That should probably be plenty. This stuff is very concentrated. And then I'm gonna make just a little bit of white to put in this Ziploc bag so I can show you at home that if you don't have these fancy little bottles, or you don't want to squeeze the ketchup out of your old ketchup bottle or something, you can just go ahead and use, you're going to want a little bit of water. Well, darling, let's put a little bit of water in there. That should probably be good. Be careful, careful, so you don't get it all over your beautiful pink. What am I looking for? I'm looking for
I don't know, man.
a little water.
Okay. All right, so we're making our yellow. When we come back, what we're going to do is actually you're going to show us how we MacGyver things if we don't have, all the frosting containers and bags. You do this for a living, so you have these.
I do.
Okay.
But you can use anything. You can
All
use
right,
this
and
blood
when we
bag
come
or-
back, we're going to use these. You're going to show me that. We're going to take a quick break,
Okay.
and we'll show them how we MacGyver this up.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
And I'll get that stuff ready for you.